Hi, we're excited to share some of the exciting indoor air quality improvements here at the operating room. Come on in. You may be familiar with some of the other devices used for deep cleaning in the operating rooms, such as an ultraviolet robot for use in unoccupied spaces that can go around and do an extra layer of deep cleaning throughout the space. You may also be familiar with UV that's used in the ductwork, which you don't see, but you know is providing some extra layer of cleaning of the air that makes it through the ductwork. What you may not be as familiar with is that there are low-powered UV devices that can be safely deployed within the standards of ACGIH and ANSI throughout all our occupied spaces to decontaminate at the most likely time that the contamination is occurring. And that is usually when people are breathing or exhaling into a space, or when they have skin particulates naturally sloughing off throughout the day. The two forms of light that we're going to be talking about are 222 nanometer ultraviolet light and 254 nanometer ultraviolet light in the upper room. The 222 nanometer ultraviolet light is also known as far UV. These lights that often look like smoke detectors can be installed on the ceilings and provide downlight protection all the way around the surgical site and the operating theater. This will allow continuous disinfection of the air that may be circulating above people's heads or around people's heads all the way to the floor while that's being occupied. These systems are being used in hundreds of schools and homeless shelters and hospitals and other applications, restaurants, and all the way through the Department of Defense up through the Pentagon, and have really been helping keep people available at all times. The other form of UV I mentioned was 254 nanometer light, which may sometimes be used on those robots and may sometimes be used in the ductwork. But remember, those spaces weren't occupied, so why can we use that in these spaces? Well, if we shine it in spaces that aren't occupied, we're just fine. So this is called upper room ultraviolet light, and this has been successfully used since the 1930s in schools where it successfully eradicated measles to levels not seen with any other level of protection. Since then, it has been recommended by the CDC and the World Health Organization as one of the primary levels of protection, or additional layers of protection, that we can use for the prevention of the spread of tuberculosis in healthcare systems and beyond. When entering the upper room, to either maintain these lights or other lights, whether it's visible or anything in the upper room where you'd have to get on a ladder, make sure all the UV lights are off. The easiest way to do this for the upper room lights is to approach from the left-hand side, have eyeglasses on, safety glasses, and before you take a step or two on the ladder, then just turn it off on this, not looking into the light from this close distance. Should be perfectly safe. There are 4 ultraviolet, upper room ultraviolet lights throughout the operating room, 1 in each corner, providing lanes of coverage throughout the entire upper room. The far UV is here, and because it's not as easy to access and there are more fixtures, there's a simple little red light switch on the outside of the sterile core room, which can be used to turn the lights off. Thanks so much and have a great day.